Jazz88. I'm chatting with DeCarlo Jackson, gifted trumpet player, bass player, and all-around musical talent from town. He's a member of the group Hey Arlo, as well as a member of Hippocampus. And lately, DeCarlo and comedian Emma Dollenberg have been directing their energy toward a series called RIFFS. This project brings together comedians and jazz groups for some collaboration, and they're at the Green Room in Uptown on Sunday the 17th, that's this Sunday, as well as doing an early 3 p.m. New Year's Eve show, also at the Green Room in Uptown. DeCarlo, thanks so much for visiting Jazz88.
Hello, hello, hello.
Now, DeCarlo, you got a full plate before you started doing riffs. You've been doing a lot of music around town, producing as well as playing, but you had the urge to combine jazz and comedy. What inspired you to go that route, my friend?
There's a Spike Lee movie called Mo Better Blues. Blew me away. Only good movie about a trumpet player. Fight me.
And you just felt like, okay, the way you saw comedians work at that club and that vibe, you said there could be some of this in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, he plays a set, and then he has his comedian friend come up, do the set break, and then that gives, the chance for some movie-making stuff going on, some cool dialogue happening. But there's a comedian on stage just serving the crowd in between sets, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So I was thinking about how to make that physical, and it turned out it kind of makes a lot more sense to have the comedian just do jokes on top of a jazz group, literally.
Gotcha.
And that would be cool.
Now, you started the process of putting this thing together, I'm sure, in some planning stages with Emma, and you got another collaborator as well. But a lot of the sort of process of building up this roster and making this collaborative process happen was public, right? Like, you guys were doing something every Monday at Jazz Central Studios. A, how did that go? And B, what made you want to make that development process so public?
It was stressful and hard, but we got through it. I think the impetus for it was that you can't really tell a comedian to come to a band practice. Musicians can band practice to themselves as much as they want, but you can't really have a comedian practice jokes to an empty room.
Yeah.
And so we just thought, why don't we get people in the room and hopefully try to get some grassroots action going on, some cool support from people who want to be a part of it as early as it can be. And there's a few people who want to be a part of that, and I appreciate every single one of them, all 10 to 11 of you who came. I really appreciated that.
Well, listen, DeCarlo, you've been a magnet for cool stuff for a long time in this town. You seem to have an energy that wants to do more than sort of the boilerplate, play some gigs, go on tour, make some records, do some really, really cool things. And this seems to be part and parcel of that kind of work. DeCarlo is one of the organizers of RIFFS and brings together comedians and jazz musicians. They're at the Green Room in Uptown this Sunday. What time is that one at, DeCarlo?
This Sunday will be at 7.
All right, and then the New Year's Eve show is at 3 p.m., so folks can get that one early and then still enjoy some midnight-oriented festivities. Now, you've seen this project happen where you've seen musicians support comedians and play together. What's the most impressive chemistry you've seen since starting RIFFS between musicians and comedians?
So there's this comedian online named Comrade Tripp who we'll have for the New Year's show. And he makes this very depressing, very slow, sad form of comedy that I really appreciate.
Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Why do my blessings feel the need to disguise themselves from me?
And I always wanted to get him with Kaviesh, the piano player.
Yeah.
And we never were able to make that happen, sadly. But something that did come along that I really appreciated was the new group Room 3.
Yep.
And this comedian named Ethan Peterson.
I feel like I could be in better shape if I cared more. That's the thing. But I don't know. I feel like I look alright. I feel like I kind of got like retired athlete body. You know what I mean? I kind of got like the Charles Barkley going on. Like if I took my clothes off, you look at my body and be like, wow, I bet that was really something when you was 25. But I am 25. It's just never looked good.
They just mesh so well. They're going to be going together on the 31st for sure. But we couldn't get Kavi on the 31st, sadly. So that comrade trip thing isn't going to happen yet. But, you know, one of these days, hopefully.
Yeah, there's some kind of punchline. Like, what's the hardest way to book a jazz trio? Add the requirement of comedians. I feel
Right.
like your calendar game's got to be next level. Now, DeCarlo, there's kind of an understood thing when you're booking musicians for a gig where you go, I'm going to be on the trumpet, we're bringing in a bass player, we're pulling these tunes. Have you read this? Do you know this? You're kind of starting from ground zero to try to put comedians and musicians together. There's not a blueprint. Must make you want to call the right kind of musicians to develop the right kind of vibe, and same for comedians. How have you cultivated that right spirit of collaboration between these two communities?
Right. Well, like you said, I've been playing music around here for a really long time. And to make a long story short, I guess there's quite a few boxes that you can loop musicians in terms of the way that they're able to communicate and the way they're able to play. Some musicians, it's better to not communicate with them while they're playing, and some musicians, it's easier to communicate with them while they're playing. And in terms of playing jazz standards alongside these comedians, or playing originals like Room 3 is going to be doing, it really comes down to picking the right music and having an idea of what you find funny, and then being able to share how to make the process for the comedian as easy as possible with the other musicians while they're playing.
DeCarlo Jackson has discovered the smallest Venn diagram in the entire universe, and he's putting it on stage. I joke I'm trying to make you laugh, my man, but you got a lot of comedians and a lot of musicians who want to be a part of this. The shows are this Sunday at the Green Room, as well as New Year's Eve at the Green Room. And I want to make sure we get some time. You brought in some new music for us to listen to. I feel like we covered everything for RIFFS. You feel good about all that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, hit me, DeCarlo. What's this new music we're about to press play on?
Well, me and my friends like to get together and make music. That's all we do. So we got together this week, made some music.
All right, you got a title?
Yeah, we're calling it 925 tentatively.
All right.
Got my friend Bob singing. Got my friend Wiss on production.
All right, it's 925 tentatively from DeCarlo and Friends.